Hello and welcome back, folks. Today we've got Azur Cheshire. So, fortunately, with this video's release, Azur is not available right now, but you have my seal of approval that this ship is totally worth it. It's extremely tanky. It's just a good ship. It doesn't deserve the hate it gets. So, right off the bat, without the marriage flag, 5% to credits, 55 to ship XP, 65 to commander XP, and then 100 with the clan. Armor-wise is where she gets a lot of shit. 25mm bow, 27mm side, 30mm deck, and 25mm stern. Now, we'll pull some of that armor away. Sorry, just want to show that. Look at that. It goes right through that flat butt. It'll go straight through and into the Citadel area. And that is the Citadel. Like, it sticks way above the waterline. And there's no torpedo protection. So there's not that extra bit of armor there. So it's literally just a floating Citadel. And a lot of people don't like that. But if you can learn to make it work, it's actually a decent ship. It has 42,500 HP, 19% torpedo reduction. It's not the best, but still don't try to... Still don't take torps in it, since it doesn't get a bulge. It basically doesn't have a torpedo protection in a sense. It still would protect you, but you've seen in my Raptor Rescue old school spawn kill with torpedoes. I took torpedoes and I lost a crap ton of my health. It doesn't have much torpedo protection against those kind of torpedoes, so be aware of that. It does get 6 234mm guns. These are like tier 9 guns. These are like Drake guns at tier 8. So they have a pretty good amount of punching power. You only get 6 of them. So they get a 12.5 second reload, 7.5 switch time, 16 second 180. That's not that terrible. Dispersion is decent at 134. The range is terrible in randoms at 16.1, but it's really good in operations. So there's that. He gets a lot of shit for being in randoms, but in operations, it's just a monster ship. HE is 3,850 with 24% fire chance, 59mm armor pin for the HE shells. And then the velocity with the same for HE and AP being 841 with AP doing 5,750. Secondaries. Now, you might recognize these secondaries if you play tier 10. Guess what? Those are daring secondary guns. Those are daring guns, basically, on this, well, cruiser. So, 2.7 reload, 7km range, more if you put a signal flag. So you could actually put a secondary flag, and these secondaries are really decent. 1600 max damage, 7% of fire, 19 armor pin. You run into DDs, it will pin them all day long. Velocity of 746, so not the best. Torpedoes, she gets 4 racks on each side. Single launch torps, 8 kilometers, 61 knots, 6 second 180. So around a minute and a half reload, so that's not bad. They do about 16,000 damage and a 1.3 detectability range, which is actually very decent. Airstrike wise, 7km range, 2,000 HP per plane, 4,200 max damage per bomb. I have used the ship in randoms and I have gone against subs, and it's not that bad. It's actually very decent. So, I actually played a match in randoms versus a CV and a sub. I actually did pretty well. I wasn't really worried about it. So, again, in the hands of a good player, it can fight off submarines. So, that's not much of a problem. It's mostly her armor that's going to be tricky for you. AA-wise, freaking phenomenal. 20 dual mount or Lycans, 10 quad mount, 40mm guns. Or is that single mount? Yeah, that's, sorry. 40 or 10 dual mount 40mm guns, and then she gets the 113s. Continuous damage, as you can see, a lot of it is in the short range, the medium, and a little bit in the long range, but with defensive fire, that is just a hell of a lot of damage. And then the shell explosion at 1470, 5.8 range. If you spec it at A build, which I'm partially built as, you're gonna have a fun time shooting down carriers, Hermes. It's not gonna be a threat to you at all. Maneuverability wise, 34 knots, 720 turning circle, 8.4 rudder shift. Concealment is 9.5, which is actually very decent. Because the Togo has 9.3. So you're right in pair with the Togo's detectability. And you can, not technically stealth torp, but if you can get a smoke screen, you can actually still stealth torp. So just be aware of that. There is a lot of advantages to this ship that people don't mention. Now for the build, I actually run something different. I mean, main armaments 1, defensive fire modification 1, aiming systems, steering gears, and concealment. Now you could take either hydro. Some people probably take hydro over defensive fire, but I really do enjoy this build. If you worry about planes and operations and you just want to get a hell of a lot of plane damage and just go after the CVs on Raptor Rescue, Hermes, Cherry Blossom, you name it, this ship you can put it into the thick of the action and you won't have to worry about it. And with Cunningham, you get a max of 4 super heals. After getting 2 kills, you get another heal. So you're getting 4 super heals at tier 8. That's a significant amount of damage. And the replays I'm showing you of Cheshire demonstrate what I'm talking about in this ship. The HE works great, the AP works great, the AA isn't really demonstrated, but you saw that in the Raptor Rescue video, and it's significantly good. For exterior wise, again, it's Azur Lane, so that's the camo. I do like it because it has kitty paw prints on it, so that is a personal thing of mine. I have kitties, I love my cats, so paw prints are nice. But for Cunningham, grease the gears, gun feeder, priority target, superintendent, concealment expert, adrenaline rush, and top grade gunner. This is my Goliath build. And yes, some people could say you could take incoming fire alert and then trade it off for demolition expert. That would free up some points, and that would increase the up to a 25% fire chance, which you can do. But it's really just, I just like knowing what's aiming at me, personally. So for me, it's worth a 2-point skill. A lot of players I know, like in the higher clans, say, oh, it's not really worth it. But for lesser players and just for operations, it is very doable. It's still a worthy skill. Because if you plan on only using the ship on operations, priority target is a good skill. Because you want to know how many of these bots are shooting at you. Because then you can choose to be aggressive when you want to and when you don't want to. That's just the thing when it comes down to it. So it's really what you play. Again, after you get, if you get 4 floods, you get that increased speed. So there's that while you want to run Cunningham, because you can activate that. You can't unfortunately activate Witherer, but you do get, after 2 kills, you get that increased consumables, which for those 2, it is definitely worth running Cunningham on this ship. And if you want a decent little British crew trainer, Cheshire is just a great ship to do it. That or Vanguard. Vanguard or Cheshire are really good crew trainers. They're a little bit high skill ships, but once you learn them and learn how to play them good, they are really decent. But let's get into the replays and the game footage of Cheshire, and we'll show you how Cheshire does it. Good morning, good night, and good evening, and today we're back with Cheshire, folks. We're divvied up to my friend Cap. Now, I did persuade him to get the Cheshire. He wasn't really sure if he wanted this ship, because he's not an anime fan. So Azur Lane. But this ship gets my seal of approval. Because it's a really good ship. It doesn't deserve the reputation it gets. It's strong, has good guns, excellent survivability, as we will demonstrate. So we have the Terrible, Double Cheshire, Congress, Mogami, Scharnhorst, and Atlantico.
Awaiting instructions.
And we were divvied up with that Terrible before, but he was in a Tashkent 39. Same map. Literally, these matches were literally back to back.
That's the enemy vanguard. Destroy them.
So I was telling Cap, let's mess with him a little. And by mess with him, I mean we're gonna position our ships so we can use our AP to hit and knock down these cruisers, or any ships that come through here. And then we're gonna go and basically, in our terminology, we use Operation Steal Damage from the Terrible. Other players, it might be you do a dick thing. But when you play Ops, sometimes you just gotta do something that makes you enjoy it a little bit more. Especially when you know someone's gonna do it. It's easy to, like, mess with them. Now, as you can see, Cap gets pretty good hits on those cruisers. I'm getting good hits. The AP velocity is amazingly accurate, despite the number of guns. And you can see I'm just pumping out the damage, and I'm doing consistently really well against it. It was only like one shell for a Citadel. It's just tiny bits, tiny bits, tiny bits. And now we're going for Operation Steal Damage. Because Cap was asking, does the Terrible have the ability to stealth drop? I'm like, yes, but barely. Now Cap is taking all the damage. He's taking literally all the damage at this point. And I'm getting pretty good Citadel hits. Now Cap isn't at the best health. Remember, he just got this ship. He just got the ship. I've had this ship for a while. So I've learned how to play her. And since I do have Cunningham, 2 kills, and I get another super heal. So, 1 more kill and I get a super heal. But see, just a few chunks and the Citadel, it doesn't take much to do extremely well and great damage. You can see that the accuracy is really good. And we're doing 13 to 10k chunks at a time. Now the Terrible does go down. So I was realizing Cap was like, heh, he died. Because it is different doing this in a Tashkent 39 than it is in a Terrible. There goes the second kill, and we get the heal. Now, since the battle isn't strong enough to take some armor piercing from battleships, but certain armor piercing shells it can take. Like the Fuso's 14-inch guns, it can bounce in those on its armor. And we're not doing great, but we are doing pretty decent. Single fire him. He is going to get closer to us. So, he's going to drive straight into those. Our job is just to bounce those shells. Cap loads AP, I load AP. These are 234mm guns. So, tier 9 guns, basically. I'm tier 8. They're extremely strong guns, considering the lack of quantity. I'm still taking damage, but I'm still bouncing and mitigating the damage. That's all that you have to do. And that was a nice 10k salvo with all 6 penetrations.
This is Task Force Commander. I'm enemy forces.
Corpse look good. That was a nice 40k on it.
Aircraft proceeding to assist. Will arrive in 5 minutes.
The ship is on fire.
And we did pick up the kill. Now we still got 3 super heals left. We'll be okay.
Problem solved, sir.
We do have 2 cruisers looking at us, though. Myoka's our #1 threat. But right off the bat, we get a nice 14k hit on him. 2 citadels. Try to follow up.
The ship is on fire.
Another nice 7k. So around 20,000 just right there. Cap, I think, gets a really good hit on that one. You saw that chunk go off. And Cap picks up that kill. Now I'm like saying we're gonna go south. We're going south. Because we are in Cheshire. You don't go toe to toe with a Nagato. Because Nagatos and Amagis have 16-inch guns. And they will overmatch your bow and your armor. So, if you're going to take them on, you got to take them on your terms. We know we have a full health Atlantico coming up. He's full health. So, let's help get him up there. So, we're thinking, let's support the Atlantico. Pop our, I think it's our 3rd super heal. And you can print a new ship with this. Like, I can lose damage and then I can pump back, get the damage back. Now, oddly enough, I'm at 25,600. Look at Cap. He's only 300 HP different than I am. Legitimately, only 301 HP difference. That's, you saw he was taking a lot of damage. But yet we're still basically half health, and we can both still fight. So together we basically have a whole ship with 12 guns. So it's not a bad deal. Cap's I think at like 70,000, and I'm at like 193. With experience and more time, he'll get up there. But this is a good ship. Our plan is to just fire on the Nagatos, burn them, and burn them. Take as much health off, and try to help our Atlantico get up there. But you see, when a good salvo hits, it's like 7k unsaturated, and then it's just consistent HE damage. We get a fire, we get DCPs, so we switch the other one and get it DCP off cooldown, and then we'll start stacking those fires on it. Both of them are off cooldown, and now we just start stacking those fires and helping the Atlantica. Cap shooting AP, but I tell him to switch back to HE because he was like, "Oh, the AP doesn't do much of this angle at this range." I'm like, "Yeah." Atlantico gets a fire on it. Even 2 shells is like 2,000. Get a fire. So, I believe since he has 2 fires and Yushi has 1 fire on it. Make that 3 fires on Cincy, and I think 2 fires on Yushi, or 1 fire. But Atlantico is showing up way too much side to be doing that. Way too much side. He's starting to take damage. He wanted to get all of his guns up, but you see he's just exposing himself even more. And you don't want to be doing that. The goal of making that push and not dying is to expose as little health as whole as possible.
Enemy destroyer detected.
He picks up that kill, but he does die. He does set a fire, it looks like, on Yushi. Cap does pick up Sensi, and then we switch to the Nagato and Amagi. With those gone, we just have to sink this one battle. Right off the bat, we get triple fires on this guy. 3 triple fire permanents. We drop Torp, because he might drive into those, he might not. I'd rather turn away and not die. Because remember, he does overmatch us. Now it's just literally just trying to aim those shots up. He can get a 4th fire on him. He's trying to get that HE damage on him. But you can just see that with those triple fires, he's losing a significant amount of health. He DCPs him. Unfortunately, our team isn't able to protect the transports. The torps look good. We get another double fire, and we do pick up the Amagi. And I don't know what our Shorn Horse was doing. I really don't know what he was doing. Like, if he had been over here, we could have had 5 stars. So, final damage, 318k, significant amount of free XP, and 500,000 made. 4 kills, 10 fires, assistant, top of the team, Atlantico second, Cap is second, or third, with 1249. And you can see just how much those armor-piercing shells did to that Fuso, along with the torpedoes. But look how much those fires did to that Amagi. Look at the amount of health we took off of him. That's a lot of health. And you can just see that this thing does set fires. It burns, it chunks with armor piercing. It's an amazing ship, and this ship has my seal of approval. Unfortunately, with the Azur Lane event over, it won't probably return until the next one. But this ship has my seal of approval, for sure. That I really do like this ship. It's a good ship. It's strong. It has... There's nothing bad about the ship. I mean, I tanked almost 1.5 million in a cruiser. That's still pretty good. Still made a little under 500,000. Even with the green booster and the combat mission, we still made 3,000 free XP. Decent amount of ship XP. And a nice 12k to commander XP. So, not a bad match.